Hello, everybody. My name is Aditi, your intuitive marketing strategist. I'm super excited to do the Periscope training tonight. I'm a huge advocate and huge believer in Periscope, more specifically because I've had such great results using Periscope. I've grown my audience, I've built my brand. More importantly, I've really built some amazing long-term relationships. I've met some beautiful souls on Periscope, and I'm so honored that I got to meet them, and I'm so honored that I've been able to help you guys on your higher callings, because I know you guys feel a deep calling inside to do this work. It's not easy to put yourself out there. I know a lot of you probably don't want to put yourselves out there. You'd rather just be under the comforter. But I will tell you, using Periscope has really allowed me to kind of catapult what I'm doing. It really reduces the workload because it allows you to connect with people on camera, on video, that in a way that you wouldn't get to do through a Facebook post, through an Instagram post, through anything that's text written, or even mini videos. Okay, so this really allows you to connect with people real time, talk with them, and engage with them. And also you'll get to sell your services and your products, because I know all of you guys are really, really gifted, and you have a gift that's really going to help advance the world. It's going to help raise the consciousness. It's going to help put all of that on the map and help people be happier at the end of the day. That's why it's so important. It's so important, and the call is so high for you right now to put yourselves out there, because it's gonna be selfish in the bad way, because selfishness is good, but it's selfish in the bad way to keep information to yourself that's gonna benefit so many people. And I know you know that too. So that's why I'm excited for you guys to be here on the Periscope training. Right now we're gonna start with part 1 training, which is all about getting started on Periscope, and we're gonna do a live demo as well. All right, so let's dive right in. So I'm gonna share my screen. All right, so here is my awesome Periscope presentation that I'm really excited to share with you guys. And all right, so this is the part 1 Periscope training. So again, like I said, this is getting started. All right, so let's do a quick overview. So the overview here is, and I want you guys to just pay attention to this presentation I've created, because I created it using Canva, and I'm a huge advocate of Canva as well, because it's a free tool that you can use to create amazing presentations. You can share your information. Whether you are into this type of layout or not, you may not be, because I have clients who are not into this at all, but you might be. So I just want to let you guys know that here is an option for you to use Canva as a free tool. And so you can take a look at how I've done a little bit of the designing here. Okay. All right. So we're going to be talking about what is Periscope, why Periscope, benefits of Periscope, how to set it up, things to know. We're going to go through fears. We're going to go through your profile, and then we're going to do a mini tutorial. All right. And when we get into part 2, you guys, is where we're going to get into the more advanced tips. All right. So what is Periscope? Periscope is a broadcast and live stream tool that can be used to share, most importantly, share. Okay. I want you guys to remember that, share. And interact, that's also key, with people live all over the world. The app is used for social, informative, and brand building purposes. Periscope is optimal to use when you don't have an existing audience. So I say this because a lot of people always ask me, what's the difference between Periscope, Facebook Live, or any other tool? Periscope is amazing when you want to reach a new group of people and a new audience, or if you're starting from scratch. Facebook Live at the moment is perfect for when you already have an existing community who is there and ready to listen to what you have to offer. All right, so this part 1 training is going to be designed to get you started and set up with Periscope. So now let's talk about why Periscope. Because Periscope has 15 million users. That's a lot of people who can potentially be in your audience, of the people that you want to reach, and of the people who are meant to receive the God-given gift that you have. All right, it's a great platform to grow your brand. It speeds up relationship building. And the reason I say speeds up, you guys, is because through the video and the interaction, people get to know you way faster, and people either fall in love with you or they realize maybe you're not the best match and they move on. Okay? Oops, sorry about that. And through video, it just allows you to build a relationship faster than through just having an email list or just doing Instagram or all of those other social media platforms. All right, so it's a free, you guys, key here is it's free. All right, I know y'all love yourself some free in the beginning. I love myself some free. I have not done Facebook ads yet. I've in the first year of my business, and I haven't had to because Periscope has been amazing. It's a free way to build your brand's audience. All right. It's also a teaching platform that reaches the entire world. People from all over the world can tune into your broadcast. How powerful is that? I think Samia is from Australia, I believe, and people are from all over the place, and that's so cool. All right, it creates raving fans that turn into loyals quicker. Now let's talk about benefits. The benefits of Periscope. It allows you to build an audience, which is huge. As you are putting yourself out there and you're putting out your God-given gifts, you start building an audience of people who love to hear from you and love to hear what you have to say. You become really good at teaching. You become really confident around your expertise. And you get free audience research. So why not? If you guys have been following me for a while, you know I'm all about getting your audience clarity, because it's all about knowing the people that you want to work with, the people that you want to bring into your experience, okay? And it's free marketing. You guys get to get on there, talk about all the great things you have to offer, but also you have an opportunity to talk about, you know, how people can work with you deeper. So how do you use Periscope? Like, a lot of people are so confused about what the heck this is. So to break it down in a very simple format, it's basically an app. It's basically an app that you can download from the App Store. And it's free, and you can create an account by connecting to your Twitter handle. You can use the business handle, because I know some of you guys have two accounts. You may have a personal account and a business account, but if you're using this to build your business, I recommend that you connect it to your Twitter handle. Now, if you don't have a Twitter account, that's totally fine. Just go ahead and create one. It just takes 2 minutes to create one. Okay, and I would recommend to use the same handle for both Periscope and Twitter, because then it'll be easier for people to remember how to reach you. That'll be at both. Okay. Next, I want you guys to set up your profile, and I have a little bit more details later in the presentation. A few things to know. I get this question a lot. You can only live stream from a mobile device that has Wi-Fi or has phone service. Okay, so that only means phone or tablet. You cannot Periscope from a computer. What works best on this platform, you guys, is being yourself. That is the key, because the more robotic you are, the more unrelatable you're going to be. Now, I know that in the beginning you will be robotic, so don't beat yourself up, because that's totally normal. I was very robotic in the beginning, and sometimes I still can be robotic if I'm nervous or if I'm not in the mood or whatever it may be. Being yourself is key, though, so just remember that. All right, so if you're worried about being imperfect on camera or giggling too much or whatever, those are the parts of you that people are going to fall in love with. So allow yourself to be who you are. I recommend to give Periscope 30 to 45 consistent days before deciding if it works for you or not. The reason I say this is because Periscope brings up a lot of your fears. So it's really easy to walk away. It's really easy to decide that this just isn't for you. But I recommend to give it a shot because it really works. It has really worked for me. It has really been working for my clients. So I really recommend that you give it 30 to 45 days before you decide this is not for you. Because even if you decide it's not for you, you're going to gain so much out of your experience with Periscope that it's just going to be amazing because you're going to get really comfortable talking. You're going to get really comfortable on camera. You're going to get really comfortable with yourself because you pretty much are looking at yourself when you are on Periscope. All right, so many benefits. You're also going to get confident about your content. You're going to be confident about what you're speaking about and your brand. All right, so many benefits here. And I want you guys to know that it's a learning process. So don't expect to be perfect right away. And don't even aim for that. Nobody wants your perfection. We want the real you. It's totally okay to screw up because Periscopes can be deleted. And also, people want to see that you're a human being. Now, this is my favorite juicy part. Let's get into the fears. Now, I asked a lot of people questions about what are their fears about Periscope, and these are the top ones that people submitted to me. All right, so I want to go through some of these because I know that you guys may be having some of these now, and even if not, you may have them tomorrow. So let's go through them so you can remember what I said. Now, if you guys have the Angel Scope guide, that was a free guide offered to you when you joined the marketing club. Though that has longer answers for each of these, but for this presentation, I put together one-liners. Okay, so today we're going to go over the one-liners, and these will probably be easier for you guys to remember anyways. And then if you want to read the whole ones, you can look at that in the Angel Scope guide. All right, fear number one. What if I have nothing to say? This is not true. Think about when you share your passion with your friends, you have a lot to say. And I'm sure you can remember a moment right now when you were telling your friends about something related to your passion and you just were going on and on and on. Maybe even your friends rolled their eyes at you because I know I get like that when I'm talking about marketing sometimes. I'm like, oh my God, like this company is really freaking like missing out on this opportunity. Like, I don't know what their problem is. Like, I get so excited. So that may be you too. Next fear. I don't know what to scope about. There's so much you can scope about, okay? You can inspire people, you can motivate people, you can do a how-to, you can do a tutorial, you can share knowledge, you can share stories. You know a lot more than you think. It's just your ego mind that allows you to, okay, let me give you guys this. So I love Robert Holden, and he talks about, he's like a philosopher, psychologist, and he talks about like lovability. And he talks about there's two parts of us. There's the ego part of us, or the original self. Or sorry, he says there's the original self and the learned self. So basically, the original self is your soul. Your soul is basically before you had a report card, before you had a name or a social security number or anything else. That is who you really, truly are. Your learned self is your name, your report card, your scores, what people told you you were, all of those things. So it's likely all of these fears, they're coming from your learned self, okay? So remind yourself when these fears are coming up and you become aware of them, think about it. Be like, hey, is this coming from my original self or is this coming from my learned self? Because if it's coming from my learned self, it means it's not real, okay? It's essentially a false fear. Okay, a true fear would be when you're actually in danger and you're like at gunpoint or you're in a dark alley. Those are true fears where your body like literally needs to react, like you're in danger. But these fears, you're not in danger. You're not in danger by going live on Periscope, okay? So when you tell yourself this and you realize this, you kind of laugh. You're like, oh, okay, I guess it's not so bad. Because we do make things much bigger than they really are, okay? What if people say mean things? This is like one of the really, really top ones that people are so afraid of getting on Periscope for. And I know a few of you on here have had some haters on your scopes because I've seen them in the last week or so. And I want you to know that it's called block. okay? You simply just block them. And what I want you guys to think about Periscope is, okay, as you're live streaming, right, you want to consider it as if it's like your conference room, or it's like your room that you've invited people to enter. So if anyone's being rude or disrespectful, what would you do? You would probably tell them to leave the room. That's exactly what you do on Periscope, okay? It's the exact same situation. You're going to block them. And we're going to go deeper into dealing with trolls in part 2 of the training. I've heard this one too a lot. I don't like how I look on camera. In a very simple lighter, most of us don't like how we look on camera, and you'll get used to it over time. Put on some lipstick. The reason I say that is, I swear to God, you guys, sometimes I'll just put on some red lip and get on scope, and I feel like a completely different person, like just from putting on lipstick and nothing else. So yeah, so the fact that you don't like yourself on camera is not an excuse to not get on Periscope, because I think most of us don't like ourselves on camera. All right, so that's that. And here's a couple more. I don't have a large audience. That's totally cool. Everyone starts at 0. I'm afraid I don't have time. So I want to remind you guys, right? This is an urgent calling. It is your life purpose to step out and spread the light that you've been gifted with. This is not a hobby. This is your business, all right? So I want you to schedule this in with your marketing efforts. And honestly, Periscope doesn't have to take a lot of time. There are times I've done a 2-minute scope, and people have still found value out of that, or a 5-minute scope. Now, I know you guys have 5 minutes to do a scope in a day, all right? So that's a false fear. Next, my time is limited. I have a full-time job. So actually, I had a full-time job last year when I first started scoping. So I know how to scope while you have a full-time job. So if I've done it, you can do it too. So what I would do is, because I had an internship last year when I was in grad school, and what I did was I had a morning commute. I could scope during my morning commute or my walk or on the train. I could scope during lunchtime, which I did, or during break, or in the evening after work. So there's plenty of time if you have a full-time job to scope, okay? And honestly, if you have a full-time job, you know you're only working 2 hours of that day at the job, a lot of the times. All right, I have so many ideas and I don't know where to start. You want to just pick one and start somewhere, okay? You just want to start somewhere. Don't worry about where. Everything just gets figured out on its way. All right, setting up your profile. So consider your profile to be like a billboard. I want you to make it compelling. So make good use of this billboard. I want you to invite people into your website and grab your freebie to your landing page, whatever it is for you. Some ideas are, you can talk about how you can help your audience in a few words. I think I still have it, but I had marketing for spiritual entrepreneurs. So I kind of had my audience in there and what they can find as well, versus just putting your title. If you put your title, that's fine. But if you can actually describe how you can help your audience, that's even more compelling and more powerful. And then you want to talk about what people can expect in your scopes. That's just another idea of something that you can do, okay? So now let's get into the juicy stuff. So some of you guys might recognize this face, or maybe not. Ashley Ann, she is definitely a popular influencer on Periscope. Love her scopes. Now, if you guys want to know how to deal with trolls, she is fantastic on dealing with trolls. Like, she completely tells people off. It's so funny, but it's really, really good. All right, so when you guys open up Periscope, this is the screen you're gonna see. Now, this is an updated screen, as now you can see a moving video when you are logged in, okay? But I want you guys to notice that there's 4 icons here at the bottom, okay? I'm gonna go through each of them. Okay, so when you click the second one, it's a globe, and it takes you to other live scopes that are going on right now. So this is kind of fun. Sometimes I browse through and hop into other people's scopes and see what's going on around the world. And then what you do is when you click on this fourth icon, this is where you can press search to find other people who are on Periscope. So let's say you found out someone's handle. You just are going to press this fourth icon here, and then you're going to click the search button, and then you can put in the name and the handle to find the people. Okay, and you guys will see featured scopers here and trending scopers here as well. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna press the top right. So again, you press the fourth icon, and then you wanna press the top right icon to get to your profile. So here's an example of my profile. So you guys can see I have here marketing for soul-driven entrepreneurs, and then I have a link for my freebie, which is the free 90-day Get Seen Supercharged, which a few of you are a part of. So join the free 90-day Get Seen Supercharged. Here's the link. And I've also added my Snapchat. Okay, and then you guys can see the whole profile. You can edit it here. I also recommend that you use a photo that is a close-up headshot, because if you use a far-away picture, or if you use a picture of a tree, it's not very personable. It doesn't really help you build your brand. So you want to make sure to use a close-up headshot so people can see what you look like. All right, so basically what you do is you click this third icon when it's time to go live. And once you go on that, you're gonna see the camera here. But what I did was I actually double clicked the screen to face me. So what you do is you just double tap the screen, and that way it'll face you. This is me sitting at Starbucks. You guys can see the Starbucks couch behind me. But you double click the screen, and it will then face you. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna tap your finger on the screen here, and then that's gonna put this cursor here so you can start typing. And then your keyboard will appear, and then you can type your title of the scope, and we'll get deeper into the titles in part 2 of the training. And you wanna use an informative title so people have an idea of what to expect. So this is a scope that I did, and I said live Periscope training tonight. And I used 3 hashtags. So you want to use up to 3 relevant hashtags because the reason we use hashtags is because basically when you click this little bird here, it tweets out your scope to Twitter, and then this makes your scope searchable on Twitter, which means random people can find you, okay? And we want to be searchable, so that's a good thing. So I want you guys to notice on the broadcast screen, there's 4 different icons here. The first one turns on your location. The second one makes your scopes private. The third one, it turns off your chat. The fourth one turns on your tweeting automatically when you go live. You should definitely always have this on. Now, you may have questions about these other ones. Location. Typically, I have understood that the location is very, very accurate, and it's been recommended to not turn this on because it's a safety hazard. It's so accurate to the point where it literally shows the block that you're scoping from, like literally the building. So if you're scoping from home, I would not recommend that you turn on location. Although I do see some people do this, so I guess it depends on you. But if you're in a public place, I think it's safer to do it, and then also it'll reach a lot of people in your area if you have your location on. So if you're at an airport, or if you're like kind of in a public place, you can feel free to turn it on because it will reach people in the area. Or keep it off. I don't usually ever turn it on, so it's really a matter of preference, but that is what I have understood about the location, that it can be dangerous. The second one, makes your scope private. So what that means is basically if you want to have a scope with just 1 or 2 other people, Sometimes I've used Scope in a fun way because, you know, my friend had moved into a new apartment and we wanted to show her apartment to a couple people. So we just invited them to a private broadcast and we were showing them the apartment. So you can use it for fun, but you can also use it for business. So I've seen people who do readings, like if you do energy readings or angel readings, chakra readings, card readings, etc., you can basically invite people to do a private broadcast that is paid. So let's say someone gives you, you can advertise a $25 reading or a love donation. Some people call it a love donation in order to get a 10-minute reading, a private scope. So basically how it would work is you both have to follow each other. That is the key. Both of you guys have to be following each other. And then when you go live, you can invite that person to your private broadcast. So typically they would have already paid you and then you make this arrangement. So I've seen people do this. I've done this myself where I paid someone else a donation and they did a reading for me. So basically they went live and we picked a mutual agreed upon time. And then she invited me to the private scope. And then I just joined in. So it's kind of cool. Only thing is the other person can only type back. So that just depends. All types of people use Periscope. I've seen all ages of people using Periscope. I've seen communities in their like 40s and 50s congregating on Periscope. I've seen people in their 20s congregating on Periscope. So there really is a range. I believe the demographic was all the way from 16 to 64. So there's a very large demographic on Periscope. So you're likely to find the group of people that you are looking for. And if you guys want to turn anything on or off, you just click it, okay, on the screen. You just click it and then it will become a bright white. Like this one is on right now, so that means it's on. And then this one, I don't know in what instance you would use this. I haven't seen anyone use turning off chat, but maybe if you were broadcasting an event and you weren't really taking comments, you could turn it off. But I think it's always fun to like have the comments on because then people can interact with each other, even if it's a live event where you can't specifically talk. And then of course, when you're ready, you hit this big red button and you press broadcast. So when you're on your profile, you want to scroll down. So this was the profile earlier, right? This one. So when you just scroll down from the profile, it brings you to this. And then you'll see the settings option. And I know people were asking me how to save it automatically to your phone. So this is where you would go. You would go to your profile, scroll down, hit settings. And then once you open settings, you'll see all these options here. So you can turn on notifications for when you get a new follower. This is always fun because, you know, it's fun to be like, oh my God, I got a new follower from the scope that I did or etc. So I like to keep it on because I always get excited. And then you can basically decide if you want to auto delete after 24 hours. And then here's the one to save to your camera roll. I have this selected because this allows my videos to save automatically, so I don't have to do anything. It goes straight to my phone. And I have like a pretty large, this is for an iPhone. And from what I understand, it's similar on an Android, but this is what it looks like on an iPhone. Basically, the settings are inside the profile, and then you can go here to save to your camera roll. So there's got to be some button for Android. I'm sure you can just Google that and find it easily. But since I have an iPhone, I know mostly about that. And then some of you guys may be wondering about the auto delete. In what instance would you use this or not use this? So it's always good to keep your Periscope relevant. If you're known to keep all your replays on, maybe people won't be as adamant to join your live scopes because they know your replay will be available. So some people are adamant about sticking to the old rule where Periscope used to delete after 24 hours. when you did a broadcast. And so they put the option here, if you like that feature and you want to keep it for yourself, you can have this auto delete on. So this means this forces people to really show up live to your scope, as well as make sure they catch your replay within 24 hours. So it makes it that time sensitive thing. Right now, I know for me, I don't have delete every 24 hours. I think as a general rule, it's probably good to keep maybe 3 or 4 there, like maybe some of your best scopes where you teach your best things. But it's almost like, imagine people are going to your website, right? And they want to browse around. So that allows people to have that browse around area where they maybe can get a taste of what you're all about, and they can see if they like you or not. And then they'll give you a follow if they like you. And here's an option too, in your settings, if you feel like the comments are too small, you can make them bigger and make them larger. So especially when you are scoping and maybe you have to set up your phone and you're a little bit far away, you might want to make them larger. So that's an opportunity you have. But the one thing I don't like about this is that when it's large and you're watching someone else's, sometimes it covers their entire face. And I like to see people's faces when they're scoping, so that's the only one place where it may not be. So maybe if you want to turn them on only for when you are scoping yourself. So after you scope and you click your most recent scope, this is what it looks like, and you may have seen this. And you'll see how many people viewed it. You'll see some statistics. You'll see statistics of how many people viewed it, how many replay viewers were there, how much time was it watched total per viewer, per broadcast minute, how long your video was. So if you ever want to get an idea of how long your broadcast is, I like to look at my duration. Sometimes I'll be like, I feel like I was rambling. I feel like I went longer than I wanted to go. And then you can see how long it was. And then, of course, it lists all the people who scoped. Another thing I want to mention that I do recommend, and since I see Regina's handle here, for your handle and your profile is after your name, your first name, putting in what your expertise is. So you can see here, Regina has financial empowerment. And with mine, you know, I have the marketing angel next to mine. So whatever your expertise is, you can see it becomes valuable when you're in a ton of, when you're going in people's scopes and people are seeing your name and they're interested in your topic. Look how much Regina's is popping out versus anyone else's. Because if they're just plain old names, you're not really telling me much, right? But if you have, like, if someone sees marketing on my name and they're like, oh, I want that, they'll click on my profile, see if they like me, and then they'll follow me if they're interested. So it's always great to add in your expertise or your title after your name. And then even after the broadcast is over, you guys can still share it out. So when you guys are live, you can tell people, like, even replay viewers can share this out. Like, even if you're catching the replay, you can still hit share. So they can still share, you can still share, everybody can share. And you can also delete the broadcast if for some reason you wanted to have this to be only a live broadcast, or maybe you were having like a really goofy broadcast and you don't want to keep it up, you can delete it. And then you can share it right now on Twitter, Facebook, or just copy the link. So this basically just takes you to this where you can, it creates the tweet for you, so you don't have to type anything. All you have to do is press post. So you guys can see here what the power of using hashtags, because once the hashtag is used and this posts to Twitter, then all of a sudden this entire tweet is searchable on Twitter through these hashtags, and people search hashtags all the time. So the hashtags are super important, okay? And then you can also share it on Facebook, and then you can also just copy the link, because sometimes maybe you want to put it somewhere specific, or you want to put it in your newsletter. You can put it in different places like that. All right. And then, of course, this is what it looks like when people are commenting. Yes, it can be a little confusing because you have to look at the comments and read them, but you also have to look at the camera, which is usually up here. And you guys have seen me tell a couple of people, hey, look at the camera, look at the camera, because when you look at the camera, it actually makes it feels like you're looking at me or looking at the viewer. So it allows the people to feel more connected to you. But if you're looking down and you're talking, then it doesn't feel like you're connecting to the people that you're talking to. So you can see right now my eyes are down because I'm reading Regina's comment. But then once I read it, I should go back to looking at the little circle. And it's weird, it's awkward. I totally get it. I totally feel awkward too because I feel like I'm just like staring into this random little hole and it feels a little weird. I'd rather like look at myself, especially when I'm makeup on. But I'm telling you guys, looking at the camera, it makes all the difference. So make sure to do that. So when watching the replay, people can skip through by holding the screen and just swiping it. So the cool thing here is, let's say you do a scope and you share some really juicy stuff, but maybe you were talking about other stuff in the beginning or whatever. So let's say you send it out in your newsletter. What you can do is you can find out the point where you said, I start at 41 where I share the funny way I embarrassed myself in front of 10,000 people on stage, and then you can direct people to go to a specific minute because that way people can easily go to exactly where you want them to go and listen to what you want them to listen to. That way it reduces their time. Everybody's about reducing time, because everyone's just so busy. And then here's Ashley Ann again. So you can tap the screen while watching to give people hearts. So you literally just tap, tap, tap with your finger and you will see the different colors coming up. This is a great way to let people know that you're listening and you're liking what they're saying. It's a great way to give support. It just makes people feel good because it makes people feel like they're there, that someone is watching, someone is listening. So whenever you're on someone's broadcast, give them some love, give them some hearts. All right, so now let's do a little live demo. I love the hearts. All right, let's see if I can share now to my desktop. All right, here it is. Okay, cool. All right, here's my phone. Y'all can see all my messages. All right, so let's hop over to Periscope. So you guys can see Periscope is right here. So I'm controlling this from my phone so you guys can see it. Oh, great. My phone just decided to update right in this moment. So let's see if I can do this one. Okay, perfect. It's happening right now. So we'll go up in a second. Divine timing, right, you guys? Divine timing. I did this using a QuickTime Player. I have an iMac in my den, and I figured out how to do this a little while ago, and it's freaking cool because so it allows me to share my phone with you guys, and I can do a live demo with y'all. It's pretty cool, yeah? It's so funny, this whole time my phone was not updating, but it decided to update as soon as I shared my screen. Oh, Periscope, a Periscope. All right, let me see some questions. Okay, I talked about the location. Oh, yay. Okay, it's working. Okay, perfect. We got it. It's all good, you guys. We're here. All right, so this is what Periscope looks like when you log in. So you guys remember I did the first view of the screen that you get. So this is the first view you get. You can see all these people broadcasting right now. And then you can see all the past broadcasts I just finished, all up in here. There's Jamad, there's Nadia, woohoo, there's Chakawanda, there's me, a whole bunch of people. We did a prayer scope. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna press this fourth icon down here, okay? So I'm pressing the fourth icon. And this is what I talked about, the search functionality up here. So when I press the search, I can type in any handle. I don't know if you guys follow Natural Nicole, but she is one of my favorites to follow. And that's how you do it. You just type it in and you search them. You can see she has 31,000 followers. Wowzers. So she has 10 recent. And then she has a website, you guys know I talked about in the profile to have. She talks about her academy, and then she has the website there. I'm just gonna put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Okay. All right, so there is your profile, and here is how you edit. You just press the edit button. The edit button is right up here. You click edit, and then here's where I was talking about. You can add in whatever your expertise is, okay? And try to have the expertise be either the first or second word, because the third word likely won't show. And now you can change your handle. So this wasn't an option before, but if your brand changes, you can change your handle right here by just putting your cursor and changing it, okay? And then you add all of this stuff here. You guys can see my profile again, marketing for soul-driven entrepreneurs. Join the free 90-day Get Seen Supercharge. Oh, looks like I got 3 more followers today. Woohoo! So you guys can see your followers. You can see the people you're following. You know, you can build relationships with people through this. You guys can see all the people I've blocked here. You guys can see all the broadcasts that I've done. I've done 309 now. That's crazy pants. Cool. All right, and here's the settings option I was talking about. Here's the auto save to camera. Here's the larger comments. I ended up turning it off because I didn't like how it was covering people's faces. All right, so now we're gonna press this button right here to see how to, and you guys are gonna see my face. Okay, you see the computer. All right, so that's my computer. So what I'm gonna do is tap the screen now. It's gonna double tap to my face. And there I am. Hey guys. All right, so now the camera is facing me, and now I can basically, you guys can see here the Twitter function is here, and the chat box is here, and then the location is here. So here's where I would type, you know, a title: 5 ways to amplify your brand. And then I would put 3 relevant hashtags. Grow light workers, because that's my audience. And then that's it, you guys. And then you would go live, and I would press start broadcast. And looks like they have a new feature here to change the audience up on top: public or private. Then you can select people when you're following each other. okay? Whoops, I thought I had put do not disturb. Okay, all right. You guys want to see the settings. All right, so the settings is basically on the profile, and then you're gonna scroll down. So you see the profile up here, so you just literally scroll down and you just press settings, and then you see everything here, okay? And then again, when you press the globe at the bottom, you get to the list of the current broadcasts. These are all the broadcasts going on right now. Let's go into one of these and we can look at the comments happening. Turn the volume down. All right, so you guys can see you can scope either upright or you can do it in this landscape formula. And you guys can see all the comments happening here, all the stuff here. And basically this is an iPhone, so I swipe right. You guys can see that he is in Hawaii, so he has his location on. You guys can see how many people are live. You guys can basically press this. If you want to share this out, you can share to all your current followers. You can retweet it on Twitter. You can share it on Twitter. And you can see all the other views. So sometimes I like to go through these, you guys, and I like to see, so you guys can see again how my name is popping out here. So this is good. So I like to sometimes look at other people's like names and see who's on and see who I'm interested in. Sometimes I'll open a profile and see if they're like related to my my audience, and if they are, sometimes I'll follow them. And then typically if you follow them, they may check out your profile as well. Okay. And you guys can see the hearts going on here live. You can see how many people are live. See anyone else is live. Behind the scenes. So you can see she did it behind the scenes. So basically you guys can like go into other people's scopes and see how everyone else does it and get some ideas. But Periscope is not dead. Some people like to see that. But Periscope is very alive. You can see there's lots of people going on each other's broadcasts. All right, let's see. We can. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed part 1. In a few minutes, we're gonna move to part 2, which has the more advanced stuff in it. In this training, we just got kind of set up, got more familiar with everything and all the different buttons. And then in this next part, we're gonna get really deep into some of the really juicy stuff about growing your audience, what to do when you only have 0 viewers on your broadcast, how to deal with trolls, all of that good stuff. Okay, so that is really, really exciting. And I'll catch you guys on the other side. All right, see you guys there.